Hello everyone, welcome to DigiBytes. I am Vaibhav Gupta, your Alteryx expert, and today we are going to learn about another interesting use case of Alteryx, where we will understand that if we are generating any Excel file from Alteryx, then in the cases where there is no input from the data source, then there should be no overwritten of files should be done. So how we will achieve it, we will see in this video. Then why wait? Let's start. So now you must be able to see the familiar screen of Alteryx. So let's prepare a data set for our use case. So what I'm going to do is I will create a column here. RI. So it's kind of record identifier for me and then a name of the person. So these are just random records that I'm going to create. So one Vaibhav, then another record with identifier as one, then let's say Rahul, then similarly two Sachin, again another record with two, let's name it as Mahesh, then three Manish, then four Manoj. So now what I'm going to do next is that I am going to filter these records based on these row identifiers. So let's say for the first scenario, I will say Ri equal to 1. Then again, from the false records, I am going to further filter the data based on again the row identifier. So now Ri equal to 2. And in the third case, let's say we want to do the filter Ri equal to 4. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write an output from each of these different filtered records. So let's set up a file. Let's select XLSX as our output, and I'm storing the file at this particular location. Let's name it as test RI1. Okay. Now I will save it and I will name it that sheet 1. Similarly, for the second file, I will do the same. Let's name it as test RI2 and save it. And let's name it sheet 2 just to be uh, different from the first one. Now in the third sheet again I am going to do the similar thing. I will name it as test RI4 and let's say it as sheet 4. So now I will run this workflow and generate these three files with row identifier as 1, 2 and 4. So now I will go to the location where these files are located. So you see here that these three files have been created: test RI1, test RI2 and test RI4. So if I go and check these files and the data in these files, I can see that RI1 file has those records which has ID RI as 11, and similarly for these files we have with 2 and with 4. Now what I want to ensure that when there is no record from record identifier 1, then this file which was written here at the timestamp 26 should not be uh, like overwritten. So let's say now I put this condition here and change it as 7. So as we do not have any record where the values are starting with 7, then in this case here the records should go as null and the file should not be overwritten um, in a journal scenarios or as per our expectancy. So let's see what happens. So we are getting an error because we still have our configurations as create new sheet instead of overwriting the file. So I will be overwriting the file in this case. So now again, if I run this workflow, you see here we have no records. In this case, this file should not be overwritten. This is what we expect. But now if I go here, I can see that the timestamp of all three files have been changed. And if I open this file now, we do not have any records, but still the file has been overwritten. So now if we want to avoid this situation, what we can do is we can create some configurations to work around so that these files should not be overwritten. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a column, let's say name, and we will write a condition. If our RI is null, then we have the value as blank, else we have the value as sheet 1, or I would say not the sheet 1 but test ri1 dot xlsx. And if so, now what will happen is we will go to the output tool again and change a condition. We will go here and we will select that change file or table name and select the column as name, and we will not include this column in our output. So now again, let's run this workflow and see what happens. So now this time you see the timestamp of other two files have been changed, but this file there, as there was no data, the file has not been overwritten. So how did this happen is we did here basically is we created a column by the name of name, and what we did is we checked whether row identifier is null. So it helps us in identifying that if there are any records there or not. So if it's null, then we are setting it as a blank, and if it is uh, normal that there are more records here, then in that case we are setting it to the original file name that we have. So now when it is running and generating output, as there is no file name, it is not overwriting the file. And in the other cases where there is records, it is overwriting the file. So this is how we are achieving here our final use case where we do not want files to be overwritten if there is no data. So this idea can be used if there are a small number of files where we want to ensure that they are not overwritten, because in daily basis uh, we have scenarios, let's say in the financials, where we have reports last week, and if in this week there are no new transactions, we do not want to overwrite our records. Instead we want to show the last report itself. So in such kind of cases, this kind of logic is really, really important and can be a game changer for the developers. In case if you have any doubts, you can reach out to us, or you can write us over the comment section, or even can write a mail to us in the given mail ID in the description section. Please do follow our channel, keep watching our videos, and if you have any ideas or any queries, please do not forget to reach out to us. Thank you.